Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and yesterday was day 1 of Super Week. Today it continues, of course, as it does for the next 6 days as of now. 2 matches down, 18 matches still to go. Going to be going through some predictions for today's matches, exactly what they are, what they could mean for the upcoming week, but also some things that happened yesterday very interestingly, especially regarding the spawns in the game right now and some frustrations of the pro players as per usual. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Already outside the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this from GG Breaking Point on Twitter. Leaderboards, of course, aBeZy does these. He used to put these on his own channel. As you can see, Huke with a 1.39, Simp with a 1.29, Dashy with a 1.24 so far. So, of course, these are going to change over time. Some of these guys, like Priestahh, for example, has only played 1 series so far in the Pro League, so things certainly still liable to change, but wanted to keep you guys updated on exactly what the KD standings are looking like at the present time. Lacefield says this actually over at the amateur side, former pro player on the Los Angeles Grillers and plenty of other teams started his career last season was the LAG squad though. Free agent exploring options he reckons, and well, as Clayster says right here, pretty interesting with regards to the Hydra situation. We heard rumours a couple of days ago that Hydra's got his visa sorted, he's going to be able to get out to the States relatively soon, and we imagine that if New York continue to maybe underperform at the level we expect of them, they looked pretty good to be honest so far. They did lose 3-0 to Los Angeles Thieves, but it was certainly probably the closest 3-0 we've ever seen in Call of Duty history, at least in recent memory. And as he says right here, why does everyone just assume Hydra is going to straight overcome and start scrimming with us? We do have a team. Of course, you know, Clayster's going to say things like this, but yeah, if he doesn't necessarily go to plan these next couple of days, Hydra could be an option when they get into stage 2 and they think about, well, how to reorganize that squad if it's not working out to the best of their ability that they thought maybe it would, given the whole Zuma situation, which has been pretty unfortunate so far this season. This I thought as well, I mentioned that Chrono, well, Rossi put out yesterday, Simp over that series at a 1.4 plus, well, 14,000 damage plus 22 in the kills department. Yeah, you can make a good argument right now that Simp is once again the best player in the game after losing out the MVP last season to Shotzzy, of course, which, yeah, you could have put it either way. I think Shotzzy certainly deserving. Simp also would have been deserving of the statistics he put up, especially in the role that he plays. Yeah, pretty remarkable stuff, to be honest. It never ceases to amaze. This as well that I didn't mention yesterday, but Crone tweets out after the matches conclude, if this happens to you, what are you telling your teammates? This is on that map number 3 right here on the control where aBeZy sitting in a corner trying to catch out Neptune. Neptune spots him and just slide cancels back around the corner, and yeah, unlucky aBeZy. Not too much you're going to do about that one, and yeah, the movement just absolutely disgusting from Neptune yet again. He is just such a fun player to watch and keep your eyes on going forwards. This as well from the Mutineers, right, because they lost that map number 1. It wasn't looking great in that series against LAG before they turned it around. We need to invest in some map wins, they say, and Frosty says on their team last season, I know a guy, Kismet with the eyes emoji as well, and Havoc is just sitting here on the bench thinking like, okay, you know, they're not going to bring me back into the starting lineup if they continue to underperform. They're going to get like Frosty or something, which they decided not to renew his contract at the end of last season. So pretty interesting stuff. In the end, of course, they did end up turning it around and won that series 3-1. But who knows, as time goes on, if their team isn't performing, what direction might they take with that squad? It's pretty difficult to see a direction, right? Because everyone on that team seems to be firing on all cylinders and having their clutch moments, right? So we'll have to see how things go. But this is what we looked at very briefly yesterday. They spawned at Dark Corner. What is going on? So over here at P5, you can see that after Florida Mutineers take down a couple of kills over by this like square area and they get these kills and finalize them, their teammates at number 3 and number 4 actually spawn right in this corner here, which Revan is calling Dark Corner. And honestly, this is a spawn that I hadn't really seen before, and it's pretty interesting to see, because if you're a coach like Revan, you would imagine that watching scrims all day, every day, you're going to like see these situations arise, right? You're going to see situations where teams break P5 in a similar manner from connector and then from the back here, and then, well, their teammates spawn in the corner. But supposedly this hasn't really happened before, and there is some questions, right, that in scrims, you would imagine that they would, you know, teams would have come across this before at some point if that was the case. And spawns really were one of the themes of yesterday, right? We saw on Garrison Hardpoint actually, where aBeZy was kind of in the back. He stayed alive there for so long, but Awakening spawned right behind him, and that was a little bit strange, but maybe you could justify it from certain perspectives. We also saw in Atlanta FaZe versus Toronto Ultra, right, when at that final hill on the Rage, we'll have a look at that in a second, they had to pinch them all 4 directions, because I think Arcitys got a pretty lucky spawn over towards the garage area, which made that break a little bit easier than it would otherwise have been. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. We've definitely seen some spawns yesterday which don't necessarily align with what pros have seen before. As Accuracy says, you know, he at Matt Scrons, and Matt Scrons says, look, I'd love to see a timestamp on this so I can track it down. You know, those spawns haven't been touched since our last update, so not exactly sure what is going on. Pro not identified and will get it fixed. Also got a new call out of myself in Dark Caller, thanks fella. So seems like that one is going to be fixed. But what's really interesting to me, and this is what Slasher tweeted out yesterday before then going on to delete it, as is customary at the current time, different different spawns on servers we still cannot practice on. So this was a thing last year we discussed very briefly, I think maybe a couple of days ago, that the pros practice on 20Hz servers most of the time, or they can practice last year at least on 60Hz game battle servers. But supposedly on these servers, the spawns are actually different to the servers they play on in official matches. This is the explanation for why this spawn is so different, is because on these servers that they play the matches on, the official 60Hz league servers, which are not what they practice the game on, for some reason that makes the spawns different. It's very confusing why this would ever even be the case, right? They should be running the game on the same code, you would imagine. But last year there was certainly some discussion that this was the case, and this year it seems to be the case again, or at least from what some of the pros are saying. As Blaz says, got to be the only game where you practice on 12 or 20Hz. Last year it was 12, this year it's 20 thankfully, and play officials on 60. Slasher says it's actually disrespectful, this is still an issue. Different angles can be held, and different spawns apparently because of the tick rate. Literally not even practicing the same game every day. They should let you scrim on the same servers you play officials on. Game level 60Hz dedicated is exactly what we talked about yesterday. So supposedly due to the tick rate, the spawns are somehow different. We saw this is the one we looked at from Slasher. We saw this actually from on the raid hardpoint, right, where right at the end when FaZe were looking to break in to actually win this game, I think Arcitys got a nice spawn over here at Garage while his teammate number 2 spawned over by basketball court. You might have expected them both to spawn in the same location there, which would have made the breaker, well, slightly more challenging. They probably still would have broken it regardless, but yeah, you never really know, and this could have made the difference maker in the game. We saw it on the game 4 as well, I think on Garrison hardpoint as well, where Arcitys got a nice spawn in the back when it mattered, and yeah, certainly there's some questionable situations about the spawns. Is that to do with the servers they're playing on? I mean, who really knows, right? But if the pros and some of the coaching staff are implying that that might be the case, some spawns that they haven't seen before on, well, in practice matches, then what do we even do about that, right? It's just another issue that Call of Duty as an esport seems to have, which is maybe holding us back from being a truly premier title, but you know, these are just the kind of things we have to deal with in Call of Duty. As Zinc says as well, new spawns didn't happen, you are blasted, scrim chat. As FeLo says, personally I haven't even seen that one happen, but last year the spawns did change on the different servers, so who even knows? So FeLo saying it as well. Yeah, honestly, pretty remarkable stuff. Few things to finish off the video, we'll get into the matches for today. Gunless said this yesterday, I thought it was pretty entertaining. I wonder what is stopping the CDL from using like Monster Cat or NCS music for the stream like they did back in the day, because how many skirts can we handle any longer? It's a good question, right? After every single map, it does maybe get on the nerves somewhat. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on that one, whether they could just, you know, roll back the days to, you know, Hero or some of the other classics from Monster Cat. Occasionally I'll go back and listen to like Monster Cat 2014 best hits. Yeah, absolute banger playlist if you guys want to check it out. And well, this I thought was entertaining as well, given we talked about Zero a few minutes ago. He goes into a league play match right here, and he absolutely demolishes the enemy team. He drops 90 eliminations, like 12,000 damage on these guys, and they're talking trash. They're saying he got, you know, dropped for Parasite or whatever. Pretty entertaining stuff. But as you can see right here, 14,800 score. Pretty remarkable stuff. I'm really looking forward to when Zero does get the opportunity to get out to the States, because he's one of my favorite players to watch, one of the most versatile players that Call of Duty has ever produced, probably the greatest player to ever come out of the European region as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to see him get out there at some point. Who knows when it will be, but yeah, it seems like Parasite will be in that team for a while to come at the very least. And well, these are the matches for later today. So as we'll bring up on screen right here, Paris Legion Mutineers. This is an interesting one. Paris actually scrimmed up against OpTic last night. I think OpTic won the scrim set like 6-1 or something in that ballpark. So Mutineers certainly should be favourites, especially off their win yesterday. But Mutineers pretty much have to win this, as we talked about, if they want to get through to the winners bracket for the major. Then we've got Subliners versus Ravens. This is an interesting one for sure. Both teams that haven't looked too good so far. If Ravens lose this one, it's very likely, given their schedule to finish out the job, that they're going to go 0-5 in this stage. And that, well, does raise questions about the effectiveness of Parasite in this team. But of course, have many things still to happen. They only lost one series so far. And then the final series of the day, Surge versus Minnesota Rokkr. Another pretty interesting one, all things considered, right? Given the fact that, okay, Surge have looked pretty good last week. Maybe they looked somewhat improved. Gunless on 240Hz was certainly firing on all cylinders. And Rokkr have shown themselves, despite beating Empire, they got kind of blown out by Los Angeles Thieves, especially on that Moscow hardpoint. They lost 250-60. So they do have the potential to get absolutely bodied. And you know, given they did beat Empire, they should be favourites in this series. But exciting to see how Surge continue to improve supposedly over time. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Just wanted to finish out with this from Zuma, once again showing his casting prowess. Honestly, like on the microphone, he seems really talented already, and it's great to see. And well, if Zuma cannot continue to play into the future, I'd love to see him find a spot on the casting desk, because so many great players over time have gone on to become great casters as well. And well, Zuma, I'm sure, could be one of these players over the coming years. Who really knows? But I'm sure he's still hoping to get back into the pro scene if he can get his whole hand situation fixed, which we would love to see, of course, because Zuma's such an entertaining player. But at least if he's staying around the CDL. That is best case scenario. Enjoy taking your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm that you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
That's 4 down on Built by Gamers, and they're spawning out. 10 seconds for UT Crew to take this to a second best of 5. They're looking good here as they're set up, but the streaks are in. That's Pander with the streaks. Pander with the streaks. He's gonna curve the missile. That's 3 dead for Built by Gamers as they break into the point. 246 to 233. Built by Gamers need to hold on strong here. Got RX looking over the right side. You have somebody stacked in hill. They're gonna get one. That's Dylan Rex coming through. He's gonna get a pick. Yeez is gonna get a pick. Another team kill from Dylan Rex as he takes down Yeez. Kismet with 1. Kismet's trying to do everything he can to stay on the point. 246 to 245. Phantoms with a big kill. Timmy with 2. Timmy with 2. Pander's gonna get 1. Yeez is gonna train him out. It's an absolute bloodbath. A UT Crew takes it to a second best of 5 here in the grand finals. We got ourselves a match, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.